Hi everyone, it's KK. I'm so excited to follow up with you after an amazing American College of Sports Medicine webinar. And so many of you participated, you had proactive questions about your business, and it was so exciting and encouraging for me to hear where you're at and where you're at in the process of getting your fit together. So I've got some questions here that you asked after the fact. And to be honest, I was sitting down typing out my answers for like a Q&A style blog, and I thought, why don't I practice a little bit of what I preach and shoot you a video that would be a lot more engaging, a lot more influential, and give you the answers that you deserve. So my first question is, as a trainer, I believe our physical appearance is one of the best marketing tools that we have. To that end, do you advise trainers to make sure they're in great physical shape themselves? This is a difficult question to answer, and I want to be very honest with you. I do believe very wholeheartedly in practicing what we preach as trainers. So that means, yes, we must not just look the part, we must walk the walk. And I believe our clients see that, whether it's very specific, such as how we look, but more so how we feel, our confidence and our belief in our own ability. So let me say that a different way. I believe that it's important to be the best you that you can possibly be. And that's not like a one-size-fits-all box, guys. It's not cookie cutter. But if you believe you're in your best health, if you're striving to be the best person you can be, I think that's all we can ask for in a world of perfectionism and honestly of inappropriate, inconsistent marketing messages. The best thing that we can do to market and represent ourselves and our businesses is to be as authentic as possible. Great question. My next question says, do you have any resources that you recommend for finding our strengths? Any lists, any charts? And I actually do. I have a couple. The first is a strength analysis that I did many years ago. It's called the Strength Finder 2.0. It's based in a book by Marcus Buckingham. You can actually find that book at any used bookstore. The only downside to that is that you won't be able to do the analysis. I believe that that's only per first-time user. So this is one of those books that, and look, you guys know I'm all about doing stuff on a budget. This is one of those books I recommend you buy retail. Yeah, retail, so that you get the full depth and analysis that this book has to offer. They actually provide you an online component where you can actually put in information that answers questions that they ask that are highly strategic about you, about where you're strong, and then you get this amazing output of information about where you're strong, where you can optimize, and I think that's one of the best things that I've ever done. The other thing that I like, also by the same author, is Go Put Your Strengths to Work. It's a phenomenal book. It's a great way of understanding your strengths in a work or business setting. Many of the things that this author, Marcus Buckingham, does is he talks about the fact that we do what we're strong, and everything else we kind of just push off to other things, other people, or other times, because we know our capacity for greatness is even bigger in areas that we're strong. So full disclosure, I don't know Marcus Buckingham. I wish I did. But I know that his books have influenced me from a very young age to know where I'm strong and to let everything else go to someone else so that I could be even more successful. So those are two resources, one multimedia and one just general book that you can read to figure out where you're best fit. Okay, next question. Have you ever seen that corporate wellness and fitness is more difficult for social marketing because of HIPAA and some of these other regulations? This is an interesting question. I believe that confidentiality is what it is, meaning confidentiality is what you make it to be in your business. If you have a waiver or a disclaimer that you have clients sign as they become clients, or as you're willing to share their story or asking to share their story, then there's no issue with confidentiality whatsoever. In fact, it gives you that documentation, that paperwork that you need to be successful. It's a very simple document. Often you can find templates for it, and I do believe that it's a great thing to have if you don't already have within your waiver of the first time someone uses your business. And if not, to go ahead and start implementing that on day one. If you would like a copy of one that I use very successfully, you can send me an inquiry at kkhart.com. Next question. I know we talked about how to create value in order to retain clients, but do you think it's important to have sales experience and sales knowledge? Again, a very in-depth question, because I believe that value is only communicated through the sales process, but it's also communicated in how we interact with our clients. So let me explain that a little bit further. I know that we must communicate value for clients to find interest and pull through into the sales techniques that we desire. But we must know how to treat them. So I believe that there's customer service and there's sales, and they're different and they're similar all at the same time. With the right value proposition, yes, you will lead the horse to the water, but I'm always the first to share that unless that water has champagne, vodka, whiskey, maybe it's just flavored, whatever it is that your client desires, then you're not really selling them something that they want. So the key is to understand who is my target client, provide them an offer that's applicable to them, whether it's their stage of life, their stage of exercise, and then yeah, absolutely have a sales process. Pull them through as a client by having a clearly defined process for them to be successful. People want to be successful, and honestly, in the world we live in the fitness industry, they need the guidance on how. I've got great ideas for a sales process, and I've got a couple templates. You can also shoot me a message at kkhart.com. Next question. If you're just starting out in a small business, would it hurt your relationships with friends and family if you reach out to them concerning your services that you believe will help them in some way? I take a very hard line in the sand on this one. I believe that if I know my strengths and I know where I'm weak, so do my friends and family. So for me, it's very simple. I never sell anyone anything, and I never promote anything that anyone doesn't need. So if I know who I am and I present myself as such, people who know me and need my services will find me, and those who don't will not. So for me, it's a very clear, definitive line, and for some of you, it may be, and others of you may feel compelled to share or bring freedom or to provide enlightenment to your friends and family. Let me caution you on just your approach. I think for me, I do what I do at such a level that just knowing me for a short period of time, people know what I'm about, they know who I am, and they know what they can expect from me, and that's more than enough for me. I never want to work with someone or meet someone and have them feel like they're in a sales process, and that goes back to that authentic connection that we create. So I would say use your gut, but more times than not, we forget that just like with clients, we don't ever want to sell someone something that they don't need or that they're not ready for. So think about that as you're interacting with your family and friends. They likely know you, they likely know what you do. Give them a chance to desire your services, and then of course, they know where to find you. Great question. Next question. What are some keys to establishing brand recognition for a new startup? Is it in a logo? Is it more so in the things that we're doing? And I'm so glad someone asked this question. I say this all the time. Brand is not just about pretty pictures on a wall. It's nice to have something cute behind you. It's cute to put memes on social media, but your brand is what you live, breathe, and die every day. It is what your staff does when no one is looking. It is what your clients feel from the moment you answer the phone. So yes, it's important to have a really strong logo and value proposition, but more so it's in how we interact with our people, how our tribe welcomes new folks, and of course it's in how we position ourselves. So I think you can understand brand is about a lot more than your website, a lot more than a logo. And if done correctly, your vibe and your tribe will match and they will know each other the second they interact. So I believe the right customer finds us if we position ourselves in a way that we attract our target audience. It's a little bit of that attraction principle that is often preached in other aspects of our lives, but I do believe it. Who you are is who you will attract. And so when I think about when I start a new business, which I've started several, what do I think about in order to create that logo, that tribe, that brand? And it starts with an analysis of my mission, vision, goals, and values. And those are things you can learn more about. You can spend some time meeting with your team or sitting down on your own and thinking about, what is it that I desire to do with this business, even in the ground stage? And more importantly, who do I desire to reach? And I think that answer will come right to you. I've got a couple more. Do you have any strategies or advice on how to generate local PR? Is it reaching out to TV? Is it newspaper? Is it a certain type of reporter? Any suggestions? This is a really good question. Personally, of course, I got my start on local TV, and from a very young age, I did that. Of course, fast forward many, many years later, I'm a TV fitness expert and business expert for many large national organizations, and it's really encouraging. I'll tell you that I believe that my start in local really made a difference. So here's what I believe gets you off the ground quickly. First, you have to be mediagenic. So I don't believe that just any person can be a media personality. I do believe that there's a certain method, a certain factor to the madness, and you have to be comfortable on camera, comfortable like off the cuff on live TV. And so there's some preparation that's involved. Just like you wouldn't build a house just thinking about the interior decorator or the outside, you want to make sure your foundation is strong. So investing in some media training, understanding your own value proposition, learning how to talk on camera, when to use your hands, when not, and learning to speak in sound bites is going to really help you to be a great prospect for any sort of media that may come your way. With local media, I actually think one of the best overlooked areas is radio. Think about where you are in your target market. Likely there's some sort of commute in large parts of the United States and throughout the world. And if you can catch people in their car, in your neighborhood or close enough, that's a win-win for a local business. So I believe sometimes we overlooked radio, we jump to TV because it's fancy, right? Or we go to a newspaper because it makes kind of logical sense, but radio is that hidden market that if you can crack it, I think you'll find more local result there than anywhere else. If you have more questions about that, I have a whole guide on how to obtain media on your own, no publicist required, and you can ask me about that at kkhart.com. I have one more question here, and it's a really good one and a great place to end. Any recommendations that I may have on how to utilize Instagram and hashtags in social media? So Instagram is like, guys, it's the hot new social media, and it has been for some time. And I'll be the first to tell you, I was highly skeptical. I don't like having to be quite social, believe it or not. And so I found that finding a way to be on social media and still feel like me was very important. I love Instagram because of the persistency of the message. You know, you've got to be on there on a regular basis. You can't just come on and like scream your message and get off, but it's more about a conversation, it's more visual, and it's more about engagement. So thinking of those three things, creating a conversation, being visual, and then of course, making sure there's an environment for engagement, that's where you use your hashtags. Now let me tell you, a hashtag is an index. It's like a library. It's a keyword. So to be honest, most people use hashtags quite incorrectly. They create this like cute little catchphrase and then they hashtag it, like hashtag don't you wish you looked like this? But that's not really the purpose of a hashtag. The purpose of a hashtag is a search term. It's to help people to find you. So hashtag strength, hashtag cardio, hashtag gym rat. Those are the things that, depending on the type of business or the type of proposition that you're offering in your post, those are the things that are going to catch people for what you're looking for. And that's just what's like trendy and interesting. So using hashtags appropriately, there's some algorithms that say that you want to use more than 10, less than 20. I think the max on Instagram is 30. So you don't want to annoy people with your hashtags. You want to break up text by using emojis. And I think the biggest thing is just be appropriate. If your text is about fitness, try to make sure all of your hashtags pertain to someone who has an interest in fitness, not just someone who's going to see your post and yeah, they may heart it, they may like it, but they're not going to take action. So make sure that there's some sort of action that's applicable for your end user. Guys, it was such a pleasure to do this quick Q&A for you. See if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me, or maybe do some coaching together. I offer a free 30-minute call together. See if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me, or maybe do some coaching together. I offer a free 30-minute consultation. I absolutely love doing it, diving into your business and helping you define what works and get in there and make some big changes for the new year. I'm KK, and you can reach me at kkhart.com.